said, you know, these octogenarians in Africa, it's like they have a meeting somewhere. They have a club where they conspire on how to lead their people. The one in Cameroon just told us that his best is yet to come at 92.
For
Biya. He said it. And I said it on this platform that, look, there's nothing coming. No best is coming. No best is coming because you can't cheat nature. At that age, what best are we expecting from you? As for Museveni, he knows that he's now at the departure launch. That is where he is now. In fact, it's like they have announced the departure flight. And so he knows. That is why he's begging them to give him this chance. That means if we manage to go through this 5 years, that means he'll be 95 years. Is that not true?
Right.
At 95, please, what are you going to do that you have not done when you are 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90? What are you going to do?
Well, he has pledged economic growth and social transformation.
Edwin, please, don't bother with all those words. We have had it severally. This is what happened when a leader has failed. At the twilight of his leadership or rulership, you will start making promises and you wonder, come, where were you all these years? That in this under 5 years, you are going to make Uganda a first world economy. With what? What miracle are you going to perform? Museveni. You are very lucky that the people of Uganda tolerated you. As bad as things are in Nigeria, I don't think we can go through this. It's not possible. Go and ask other past Nigerian leaders who wanted to sit tight. What happened to them? We don't tolerate this type of thing. We cannot. It's not possible.
All right,
so whatever he's promising now is just a fake news. Ugandans, Museveni is promising you fake news. He's not going to do anything. Rather, he may want to do all the things, all the infamy he has forgotten to accomplish while in office because he's leaving and because you people just kept quiet and allowed him. So I don't buy that news. He's not going to do anything.
All right, then, again, just like Barrister Edward mentioned, oppositions like Bobby Wine, the young opposition leader, is also in the race as well, which is going to be making it a bit tighter in the presidential race come 2026. You think it's not going to?
Nothing is going to be tighter. Well, what are you going to do now that you didn't do all these years? You mean at this last hour, Museveni will allow you to disgrace him out of office? No, is it possible? With all the henchmen around him, with all the institutions he has compromised in Uganda, you mean all those ones will not allow him? Because they will buy a session of the press in Uganda now. Who will be there? Allow him now. Shebi said it's the last time. Just say, let us give him this last respect. He's our leader. He has been there for long. He has helped us, this and that. And these are the things we are going to hear among the public. So, nothing is going to be tighter here. Nothing. He will not allow it.
Oh, well, let's bring a major information out here for the benefit of our viewing audience. As it stands in Malawi, the presidential polls that did happen on Tuesday, that started last week, I think, last week, yes. As it stands, former president, I'm talking about Peter Mutharika, has built a commanding lead over incumbent president Lazarus Chakwera in Malawi. In fact, as we speak, 66% of the votes presently, from what we gather right now, is 66% of the vote in 24 out of the 36 councils are where the former president is leading presently. But looking at these, Barrister Darlington, is this some cheering news for Malawians, if this is anything to go by, if it ends like this?
Please, why is the presidential election lasting this long, since last week?
Yeah, sometime in the weekend. Voting went a bit late, and they had to start counting.
This is awkward, seriously. Very, very awkward.
You don't think it's possible that...
No, they are not making progress.
Late?
The electoral system is not making any progress at all. Why would an election of that nature last for 1 week plus? And they are still counting and all that. If the man have garnered 24 out of 30 council communes, then the election is over now. Is there any miracle that will make the Chakwera to beat him? Is there any miracle?
But that's the reason why there should be total counting to the list of it.
Look,
don't you think?
If I were this man, I would do what Jonathan did. Congratulate Motarika, so that this matter will be rested. There's no need. It's not possible. But again, the election in Malawi and in most African states is like a relay race. This man was there before, Motarika. He was the last of them now. He was the last president.
Yes.
The same Malawians removed him or voted him out. And today they are bringing him back. I will not be surprised that in the next election cycle, they will bring this man again. This other one that Chakwera that is lost. And so it will tell you that democratically, African states are not making progress because of the level of political ignorance.
How do you mean, Barrister? Because in Ghana, there is a John Dramani Mahama who was re-elected into office by the Ghanaian people.
Yes, because they don't have any other choice among these political gladiators.
Progressively, he's doing better from what they have economic indices.
I am sure there are 10,000 people who can do equally better. I am sure.
Okay.
But because these people have garnered a lot of resources by being in power at one time or the other, they have made a lot of money. And with that money, they continue to feature in the political space. Right. That's just the truth. If not, these two people cannot be the only people in Ghana or in Malawi.
All right then. Barrister, let's take this conversation to Uganda, where Barrister Edward is still standing by. Barrister, again, you're abreast of this situation, but one interesting conversation that just popped up now is the fact that Africans at this point seem to be only closed with people who have resources to face them when it comes to election circles. Is this what we are seeing, or is this something that the electoral bodies across Africa should try as much as they can to rejig and make Africans have far more options than the ones that we know before now? Following the elections in Malawi and of course Ghana that ended the last time out.
Yes, Africa, we are in the culture of actually not following what the law is recognizes on us. Africa is a continent whereby today, if you don't have food in your house, you die hungry. So in politics, if you don't have resources and if you don't enter into government to collect resources, then you are nowhere to be seen. Always the elite remain in power. The situation actually in Malawi, you get that the same people remain in this kind of positions. Not even in Malawi alone. You have seen most of the countries. Just bring my neighbor Kenya. Kenya is a country whereby only the elite who actually occupy power. You have seen the retired prime minister getting out from opposition, joining the government,
right,
and just to purposes of collecting resources, so that they will remain strong in politically. They remain relevant in politics. So I for sure Africa is one of the continents which we need God to come and intervene when it comes like leadership, such positions of a president. We need Africa to be prayed for. We don't have leaders. You cannot come as a peasant and come and campaign to be a president and win elections peacefully. The democracy in Africa is dead. Africa is totally out of hand when it comes like a democracy.
But Barrister, is this about the democracy, or is it about our electoral commissions or electoral reforms not being up to date, particularly in the parts where people say there has been no independent candidacy all across Africa or even the world, because these people do not have the financial muscle to wade in when it comes to election period? Is it about election reforms or Africans not holding on to democracy, as it were?
It is indeed both the policies we make, because you have seen examples of countries whereby even parliament itself is actually taken up by the executive. Executive becomes more superior even in the legislation. So even the laws which are made in Africa today should be matching to the leadership of, matching the current leadership. In Africa is the only continent where you get a president can invite legislators to State House and take coffee. And in that discussion, what do you expect? Electoral Commission in Africa is where you get the president nominates Electoral Commission chairperson. Now what do you expect that such a person to in democracy? So those are issues which are supposed to be addressed, but they cannot be addressed in Africa. It can only be addressed by the people of Africa by denying whatever is happening today, and we need to see where Africa should be.
All right then. Well, from that particular story, because again, I am concerned about it if it's about democracy, because the ones who have moved away from democracy because of coup are presently talking tough. And I'm talking about Mali, Niger, and of course Burkina Faso. Clearly, as it stands, these three countries have exited from the ICC, and they have made a major statement denouncing it and calling it a tool of neo-colonial repression. Barrister Edward, your take on this decision by, these three Sahelian states?
In fact, Edwin expects more to join them because they want to eat in their bedroom. They don't want to be answerable. Expect more African countries to join those three who have decided to move away from ICC, because they know better. They will not be answerable to anybody. And Africa, that's the leaders in Africa, that is how they want to stay. I don't support the idea of you moving from such a court. But ICC has been taken as a court which is actually targeting Africans. But that is not the case. Only that we are yet to see the real fruits ICC. The real fruits ICC is offering Africa, because this is the reason why this court was formed. But we have not seen any leadership in corruption, in human rights, in everything. They are not being held liable. So we pray one day, one time, that we shall get the fruits before these people decide to run away from this kind of a court.
All right, I'm still going to come back to you, Barrister Edward, but let me bring it back to the studio. Barrister Darlington, interestingly, the Sahelian states have decided at this point we don't want to have anything to do with the ICC, and the statement saying that the court has not been incapable of prosecuting war crimes, crimes against humanity, and crimes against aggression is something a lot of persons should be wondering, where is this coming from? But what is your position about the exit of the three nations from ICC? You would recall as well that they've left the ECOWAS even before now.
Some of these international organizations created by the UN body is to check the excesses of most leaders.
Okay.
Especially in Africa.
Right.
Where you and I know very well that human rights are being violated right, left, and center, without any sanction, without any reprimand. And so, if AU doesn't have the power to reprimand these people, then you have an ICC, locking, close by to watch over what is going on in each of these countries.
Okay.
And if you ask me, most of these violations are common in Africa, where you have wars, where you have leaders destroying democracy, destroying human rights, disobeying court order, acting with impunity and arrogance.
And then ICC is not even talking about it.
Well, they are. It's just that most times they are this sovereignty of states comes in, and that is what is restricted.
So that has caused a major limitation on the part of the ICC.
So it is only when there is a full-blown war like we have in Sudan today, then you now see violations of rights, doing what is unto us in the name of fighting a war. These things cannot be going on like that forever. So ICC, in fact, the presence of ICC is a cause for wisdom for most of these leaders who are acting with impunity, because Charles Taylor, with all he did in Liberia, you saw where he ended. And then I think one other African leader also, Al-Bashir, he have been, his people have quarantined him and all that. And so you can't rule it out whether they move out or not. The moment they cross the line, the world will come after them. The worst that can happen is that they will remain a recluse in their country. They can't travel out, because anywhere they go, they will be wanted. But
then again, Barrister, is the decision by these three Sahelian states justifiable enough to wanting to exit the ICC? Because according to their leadership, they're saying that the ICC has not waded in on any of the crimes that has been committed in their countries before they took over as dictators in the country.
Yeah, yes.
So is that justifiable enough to wanting to leave the side?
Yes.
ICC?
In a democracy, they are not quick to judge any democratic government, no matter what happens there.
Okay.
As long as it's a democracy, ICC will not begin to prognose or intervene. They mostly intervene where there is a full-blown war and human rights are thrown, above board and violated. Mass killing and all that. The people that ordered it, like in Rwanda. So that is where ICC becomes active, because if they begin to prognose into every leader, every nation, that means all the president or democratically elected government, all of them will be before the ICC to answer for one thing or the other. In fact, Nigeria would have been number one in that court. But because they respect democracy, they can't jump into conclusion. Immediately there is one infraction here and there. They don't do that. So what the juntas are talking about does not apply, because as long as it was a democracy before they took in, they should not expect anybody to come in, especially when this principle of sovereignty comes to play. You cannot be intervening in a sovereign state at will. It is only when there is complete breakdown of law and order, and then the actors will now be called to question, especially where there is mass killing and all that. That is what they forgot to realize.
All right then. Let me just finally take it to Barrister Edward, and my question would be, as it stands, the final going out of the ICC by these three Sahelian states, what do you think will be the implication of this in the near future, particularly on the political landscape of of these countries? I'm talking about Burkina Faso, Niger, and of course Benin Republic.
You see, it depends on the membership, which was, I think, ratified in Rome by that time. So if the membership is not that strong to prevent them from getting out, then there is no effect at all. I've seen, I had USA somehow, sometime moved out of it. I'm not sure, but that is what I think. So other countries moved out, but we have not seen implications.
Okay.
So what about them? So there's nothing which is, so meaning that the policy, the starting point of ICC must have been something which was tightened to prevent this kind of situations.
Okay, so in other words, as it stands, they can decide to leave at will, which of course they've done, and a joint statement by these three countries clearly stated that it's not favoring them. That is the reason why they had to leave. All right, then, this is where we have to draw anchor on the analysis segment. I want to say a big thank you to the gentlemen who did lend their voice on the analysis segment of the African News. We had with us in the studio Barrister Darlington Agumo, who is a legal practitioner right here in Nigeria and also a public and political affairs commentator. Also joined us, thank you so very much, Barrister, for being here. All right, then joined us virtually as well as Barrister Edward Okwaro Matakinye. Barrister Edward is, of course, a lawyer and a business associate and also a human rights activist. Barrister Edward, thank you so very much.